Welcome back. Whoa, it's echoing. This is weird.
We're back.
We are so bad.
Okay, I think I figured it out. Whoa, what is this?
Mhm.
Okay, if you can't already tell, I'm recording over this because
Yes,
I'm a
Mhm.
dumbass and
but
fucked up the audio.
All of
this is all
us.
Ellis's fault. No one else. We'll cut it in post.
Like,
But oh my gosh, the finale. So Ellis, do you want to start us off with a little recap?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Michael. I mean, not much happened. Basically, just Rachel won immunity. Teeny lost to
Like,
Sam in fire,
no,
and then
no,
Rachel won to a 7-1 vote. Against Sam, who got this single vote. That's pretty much it.
again.
Oh, again? Well, I think instead I'm just going to take off these headphones because I can hear myself when I'm re recording and it's really messing me up. And other
Yeah,
than that, I am probably going to just try and cut in between what Michael and Christina have to say. Also,
mm,
yeah, welcome, Christina. Thank you for coming back on the show. And yeah, don't really know how the rest of this episode's gonna pan out, but I'm working with what we have, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the episode.
yeah. The final
yeah.
rankings of everyone of the fantasy draft. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Oh, right, yes, of course. I forgot about this part of the podcast as well.
No, I have
In
absolutely
lifetime, I forgot to update the
I
PNG,
think it's
so
Adam.
this is not the correct
it's
one, but I'll probably
It's
cut to
Adam.
what it is.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, Christina steamrolled all of us. I even tried editing with the placements to see if Sam or Teeny were to win. How would that change things? Really, not much. The main things were, let's see, I probably start to live edit it right about now. Yeah, I realized it. Look at my dumb realization, and yeah, so that is the new rankings. Ba-da-da-da. I have gone on the left side. Yay!
Yeah, people
Sorry,
like to
Emily.
stop it.
But other than that, Molly got the winner, mid-season winner prediction, so she jumped up into fifth. And yeah, Christina killed it with Rachel, Teeny, and Tiana. Not much we could have done there. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Let's go.
Uh, Welcome to the winner's circle with me and Nina.
Oh my god,
This
I'm
is an
so honored.
exclusive. That would be literally ridiculous. Speaking of, let's talk about the fire making. I thought that was my favorite part of the episode because it was the only part where I was actually like, oh my god, I don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, because before, like, Sam's being a huge baby about, I never made fire before. I've never had a fruit and like all this other stuff. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's lying." And he really didn't. It was just kind of luck and like nature that made
Yeah.
him win. It was so
which,
comical.
which, honestly, if there's anything that describes the like nature of the rivalry between Teeny and Sam, I think this is like the epitome of it, where it's like Teeny is
Mhm.
absolutely fucked over by life, and Sam gets
Yeah.
to like coast to the top yet again. It
Yeah.
was just because I think that was
Oh, sorry.
Teeny's whole problem. Teeny's whole problem with Sam, I think, was like the whole thing where
What's
Teeny
that?
kind of perceives Sam as this person who gets everything like
Yeah.
that they've ever wanted, like they've had to work through their identity and work to be like seen as like the way that Sam is just naturally always seen. And then in the
Yeah.
end, it's like Sam just like, I don't know, farts around and it's like the wind just like slaps Teeny in the face and then like blows
Yeah.
Sam's like fire into like a nuclear bomb that like
Just like
takes out his
completely
like
shatters the rope. I thought it
yeah,
was really silly how they were like, it's just like high school, like he's like the popular like jock and I'm just a loser who can't win. And it's like, girl, like
like what's happening?
Yeah, that's a great point, Christina. But like I said in all of the past episodes, as someone who picked Teeny, I had to give them props for realizing
Yeah.
their feelings to like how they felt about Sam. And for the next clip that I'm gonna add in, just to add some context, segueing to Sam, what do you guys think about his game?
Mhm.
Because he played a very dominant game, voting correctly basically every time when he had a vote at
Yes.
least, and created a
Mhm.
fake idol in one of the greatest plays in Survivor history with Operation Italy, which was rated a 9.5 on IMDb, which I did mention in the podcast that I want to get in here now. Um, yeah, were we underestimating him, or like, why do you think we were overlooking him?
I think that, like, his game, like, yeah, we a lot of people, like it's a weird thing where people, like, overestimated and underestimated him at the same time. Where, you know, during the whole time where it was just kinda him, Sierra, and then at some one point, like, him and Genevieve, it's like, "Okay, like, he's gonna go." But then they're like, "Oh, he's this big, huge threat," but it's like, "Really?" Like, and the
Yeah.
answer is yes and no.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. It was Sam. I okay, so as we all know, I didn't like Sam at first. The Sam and Sierra duo, I was like, this is so plain, this is so boring, Mormon couple, whatever. I will say, um, I did like how Sam played the game in the sense where he was like, just gonna do what's best for me, which I think makes it so much more interesting rather than someone like Sue, who is like, I have this plan. If this plan doesn't work, I'm not moving, I'm not changing. I hate this person, nothing's changing. It's like this forever. So I
Yeah.
did appreciate that and how Sam was able to kind of want at least attempt to work with everyone or was open to it. I always hate when there's a contestant who, someone comes up to them and they're like, "Do you want to work together?" And they're just like, "No." I think that's like the most annoying thing. I didn't like it with Sue. I didn't like it when fucking my least favorite person ever, Drew, did it like last time. I thought that was like awful. Drew can suck an egg. And and so I thought that was really good, and I think, it gets to a point where it was like Rachel did just kind of play this kind of flawless game. Um,
Mhm.
I think it was only flawless after when the merge started. I think the issues that they both had were like flipped. They had opposite games where Rachel had like a pretty shit pre-merge game and an amazing merge game, and Sam had like an amazing pre-merge game and kind of a shitty merge game. Not like shitty, but like he just was not doing that well, which
Not
was stuff
doing
out of
any
his control. Yeah.
not doing anything on, like, the checklist of things you can do on Survivor.
Yeah.
Where it's like yeah, like, did he have an advantage or an idol at one point? He just never used it.
I think he had way too much overconfidence in the pre-merge.
Mhm.
And I think, he might have thought during that amazing time in his game, "Oh, it's gonna stay kind of like this forever." But I think he realized no.
I can we talk about how Kyle specifically voted for Sam so he would not tie with Sue? I think it's a little silly because I wrote down that, like, Sue was like, "Oh, like, I don't judge, it's all fun and games," but, like, didn't we have that montage of Sue being like, "I'm gonna kill Kyle. I
Yeah,
hate Kyle."
it's actively not all fun and games. Um, yeah, Sue was interesting. I had high hopes for her, and they were kind of lasting at the beginning. Um, and I don't know what happened once it hit like final 13 if Sue just was like gave up, but like that's what it kind of felt like.
I I don't know, like, I really liked Sue at first, like, I was like, "Oh my god, mother," and then she just,
Exactly.
she kinda shrank on me, like, I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm trying to pinpoint as to, like, when exactly it was, cause I can't tell, like, cause it was probably, like by, like, the time she started saying that she was, like, 40, and then I was like, "Wait, like, why is she so dirty?" She bathed for the finale, I guess, she was clean.
It
But
was yeah, no, it was so interesting because I was kind of like I kind of feel like Sue's story kind of stopped after she got that idol. Like, after
mhm,
she found that idol, it was kind of like then her whole thing became, "I need to get Kyle out," and it was just that, and
it
even
was just, like,
then
one note.
yeah, it was one note, and even then, they mostly focused on her failing to get Kyle out because when it did come for the tribal that Kyle did leave, it was by other people. It was mostly
Yeah,
other people doing it. Um, Underdogs Alliance.
yeah,
Yeah, but she wasn't, like, the one who was like, "Guys, we have to vote Kyle," and being, like, so serious this time. It was more like, people were like, "Guys, I think it's finally time to get Kyle out," and Sue was like, "Yay, finally!" Like, she was just waiting
finally.
for
I wanna talk about the point that you made earlier, where it's, like, someone's, like, a clean game versus someone of, like, a more dirtier game. Like, I know that, Suve played, like, a very clean cut game where it's like, I like Gabe, I like Caroline, I hate Kyle, everybody knows this. But when you think about someone's, like, I would say, like, dirtier game where it's like you say, like, not Andy. I
Yeah.
almost said mom slip of the tongue. They're just as annoying to me. But, no, like, think of, like, Andy's game and how that blew up in his face eventually because he played too much in front
Mhm.
of somebody who had an idol being like, "We're gonna get you out,"
Yeah,
in front of Rachel, and she's like,
which is
"No."
crazy.
And it's like, "Okay, no, well, fuck you, I'm voting you out now because you're playing." And she said, like, "There was never a moment where I could trust that man," you know? 'Cause he was always doing weird shit, like, behind the scenes that just no matter what, like, "I can't trust you even if you're gonna vote with me."
Yeah, I think there's a great dichotomy between Andy and Sue. Now that you mention it, that's coming to my mind where it's like Sue had this really respected game, but I hate this. But I hate that shit. Sue had a really respected game, but but um and it's like people liked her, but it was boring TV. Whereas
Mhm.
Andy was good TV, but had a really hated game by everyone actually
Oh, yeah.
there. Like I mean, he's the only one who was voted off where everyone actively cheered. Like the jury had active input in what was
Yeah.
happening. Like they all clapped. It was like so it really is this really interesting thing where it was like Sue I think Sue opted in for being more liked at the time than playing an actual game maybe.
Mhm.
Because I think that's something it's hard to realize as a viewer is it's like you have to be stuck on an island with people who possibly will dislike you and disrespect like and feel and
Yeah.
like not who won't like you and you have to be stuck with them. And so it's easy to be like, "Oh, why didn't you do this move?" But it's like sometimes people choose being liked like at the time over like an actual good move, which I think is it's really hard to make that cut.
Mhm. Not to mention the beginning of his game was absolutely a disaster. Like, he almost, like what is it, like, Jelinski the like, almost Jelinski'd out, like, he's like, "I can't do this anymore."
Yeah.
Yeah, like, lying on the ground being like, "I can't."
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And then, like, for, like, 3 weeks, everyone knew him as the guy who, like, cried because no one clapped for him that he, like, cracked open a coconut.
Yeah. A huge, huge train wreck to begin with.
Mhm.
But I would argue in some ways, I think that's the only reason he got so far.
Yeah.
Everyone
'Cause
underestimated
everyone
how
was just like,
much
"This
went
is a
on.
disaster." Like, he's not a threat at all.
Yeah. Like, if you're in the final 3 with him, all you have to be is like, he cried when no one clapped when he opened a coconut. Boom. I wouldn't wanna vote for him. Like, really all you need. He was like a disaster in every challenge. There was like 3 separate challenges. He like humped objects to like try and
Yes.
get
Yes.
ahead.
I remember, like, every time he did something, Twitter was like, "You gotta stop. You
It
gotta
was
stop." Like,
It
this
was
is
so
almost,
bad.
like, too salacious, like
Like, this is devious behavior. This the
Yeah,
editors knew what they were doing. They were like,
and then
zoom
him,
in
like,
on him humping
licking
the sand.
him literally licking balls at one point, like
Man, all this talk about Andy is just making me think. Would you guys want to see him return for season 50?
you know what? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's her name from, like, a couple seasons ago? Carolyn?
Oh my god, yeah.
Um, and then fuck it, let's get Rome back. Rome and Saul.
Rome.
One
Let's throw
tribe.
him back
Rome,
in.
Saul, Carolyn, Andy, one tribe.
It'd be so good.
We just need, like, people crying, people being bad, Saul crashing out, and then, like, screaming from Carolyn. It's like
Oh my gosh, if Rome ever comes back for another season, I really hope they put Soul on it again too. They're like, and they don't tell him until he sees like that Rome is there. They're like, Soul, you're gonna get another chance, and he's like, oh my god, and he gets there and just sees Rome fucking sitting there. I just can't even imagine.
Wow, yeah. Some great points, guys. Definitely, I love to hear it. I see there's a big gap where I'm talking, so probably means it's gonna be a subject change. Question I have for you guys is, overall, what do you think of this season? Did you enjoy it? Did you dislike it? What do you think of it compared to the previous seasons?
I really liked it. I've only ever seen the past 2. I did like season 46 a little bit better, just by, like, a little tiny bit. But 'cause I think there was more of, like, strife, and, like, people got along a lot this season. Last season, nobody got along, and it was great.
Yeah, I hope they
Everybody
don't
kinda
hate
hated
each
each other a
other.
little bit.
Yeah. And plus, who can forget Liz's massive blow up?
It was
Um,
too good. Like, we watched it at Beck's, friend of the show, Beck's apartment,
yeah.
and I it was so funny that we immediately, like, went back to our apartment and, like, watched it again. Like, just the meltdown. Because
It was just so for Applebee's, no less.
over
It was
Applebee's, which is, like, the shittiest of the chains, like, every time I go to Applebee's, I immediately regret it. And she was like, "I need my bunless burger, like, now."
Oh my god. That's that's so true. For me, so m I mostly started watching since 44, um, and that was when I started actually getting into it. So I guess there's 4 out of the 4 seasons that I've seen where it's like, because I saw kind of 41, but like not really. I saw the beginning and bits and pieces. But I think definitely 44 will always have a soft space in my heart. Carolyn and Jam Jam and Jamie being my team was such a was such a lovely circus.
The Mooney's
Um,
Crew.
literally, it was such a circus of people. I will say I like 47 more than 46 and definitely more than 45. 45 was like my least favorite. I'm a Drew hater, and I also hated that whole Reba 4 thing. That was so dumb and it lasted so long. It was like the whole season was basically just like, let's gaslight Jake and like be the worst people ever. Um, and 46, I did like 46, but I did not like the finale, and that kind of soured it.
Mhm.
Where I just felt like the 46 finale now. I was not a fan. I didn't feel like Kenzie should have won. It just yeah. And I don't know, like to me it was just like mm, and that kind of made it be worse for me. But 47 I liked because I thought the cast was solid. There was some solid drama. Um some great like strategic plays. I think
But, like,
yeah.
like
She's like, I betrayed
like
Keyshawn.
head right here, like an 80s photo of
Yeah.
like he's over here, she's over here. I really do think whichever editor did that, amazing. I'm gonna kiss you on the mouth because I come like one of my favorite shows, I like other reality TV shows a lot, and they're using like more messy reality TV show styles of editing, like a Jersey Shore or Vanderpump Rules, where it's like someone does something and immediately cuts back to catch them in the lie or their regret. And it's so good.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
I think that's honestly like such a good point because it really was like I think it was really the strategy and the moves I think I really liked where it was like I have to say out of the seasons I've seen, I feel like this was the most strategic cast
Mhm.
where they were like they were the most willing to I guess get their hands dirty um whereas like everyone was betraying everyone at like all hours of the day at all times. Like there was
Yeah.
never a solid like a majority alliance. It always like fell apart so quickly. Which I thought was added to it.
Future Ellis here. Wanted to clarify some of your thoughts, Michael. You say you didn't like the 46 finale, and you thought the 47 finale was a little bit disappointing or underwhelming, but you still really enjoyed 47 over 46. So, just wanted to clarify that from the future, and also just to give context for what you're about to say, because I know what you're about to say. Yeah, very insightful. Thank you.
For me, it gets to a certain point where it's like if some like by for these shows like the reality shows where it's a competition and the numbers slowly dwindle when it gets to the finale it is really hard to have that unpredictable winner because you have to balance between unpredictable and also like feeling rewarding and usually like with these kinds of these kinds of games, it's really hard to do that. So I don't blame them for not. And I think the fact that I think Rachel's game was just so overpowering that it was impossible to edit around because her moves were so big you can't edit them out. It's like she's idling like Andy out, she's winning these immunities, she has this like block a vote, she's doing all of these things. It was kind of impossible to really do that. I mean, the only thing they could have done is given Sam like somehow even more screen time, which I think would have just been annoying.
Yeah.
So I really
Like
think
that
because
one
like Sam
episode
already
where
had
they
like 800 confessionals, so like I really think it was like
yeah,
the
like the
best.
billion confessionals that one like every time they edit him being like a chicken finger person where he's like, "Let's try pineapple." Like, or him when he's like singing on the island with like Gata early on, I was like, "He's not doing anything. This is boring TV." But
Wasn't.
I'll eat it. Like
Um, how, how peasantry, my watermelon.
Right, okay. Not the exact answer I was expecting. Maybe future Ellis probably should have listened to the full response before I made that question and claimed to know what you were going to say. But it is jogging my memory a little bit. I think with the 47 ending, it was, I guess what I'm trying to say is how could Sam's edit have been
Mhm.
improved on? Like Christine made a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe the rapping was not necessarily needed, and we could have used that for other players or contestants. And yeah, because basically what this Ellis is yapping about right now is the finale. Sam seemed to be a little more humble and aware in the finale, which made him seem a little more. Um, you want to. Fuck, I don't know. I don't remember what I was trying to say. But just kind of trying to play devil's advocate, you know. I think Sam played a great game, but Rachel's game was just way too good. And he wasn't planning on going to the end with her. So that's kind of was his biggest flaw that he couldn't overcome. But I think Christina says some very insightful things right after this, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna
my
shut up
thing with
now.
the editing of like his character is like sorry. But like the thing that like bothered me was like he became more likable as soon as he got more vulnerable. Like when he started talking about like his like letter from home and how he like needs to try and give it his best shot and like when things get bad like find a way whatever. It's like the whole time we weren't really seeing that from him. We were just seeing him being like this like big cocky guy who just like he's like I got my like fake like island girlfriend or whatever, like that's it. I'm like the like popular guy in the group of all girls, and it's like I wish that like they played it to more of like, oh, like he's this big personality but like inside he's still like as insecure. It's like, why didn't you just sell us that from the beginning? A lot of people would have liked him.
Yeah.
That is a great point, Christina. And I'll turn it over to the viewers. Since I'm just rambling on right now, might as well give you guys some time, maybe pause, think amongst yourselves, or if you're watching with someone else, discuss it with them. How do you think Survivor could improve their storytelling? Okay, now that you've pressed play, let's get to the IMDb rankings.
Oh,
Amazing.
these are official IMDb.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. 47 was actually the seventh highest ranking Survivor season of all time with a
Wow.
score of
Wow.
8.01.
That's pretty good.
Right? Makes you think why it was rated so high. I personally think they did do some good editing with the storytelling, like Genevieve, Andy, Teeny, and even Rachel's kind of come out of nowhere after the merge. I think that is potentially why it's one of the highest rated seasons. The next season in the 40s is a little bit of a drop off. It's 45
45?
with a 7.5.
Okay, a choice.
And that's immediately followed by 44 and 43. There's another big little gap, and then it's 42 and 46 at the
Interesting.
7.3 mark. And then 41 all the way down at 5.8. So we don't really have to talk about that one. But enough IMDb ratings watch. Let's talk about who we hope or who we believe is going to return for season 50. We've already talked a little bit about it with Andy, but anyone else from 47 or the other recent seasons?
I know I like jokingly said Andy, but it'd be so funny to see other people just like interact with him. Like it's just like too much. Like it's too good of TV to just ignore. As for other people, I feel like a lot of other people played like as good as a game as they're gonna get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what
There she
happened?
is.
What happened?
That's okay, Christina. Don't
Um,
worry. We're dealing with plenty of technical
okay.
difficulties. Little do you know.
All right. No, it was just they discovered my thing. It's like we found a new device for you to connect to, like camera wise. I was like, I don't want to do that. Okay.
Love technology.
Not like I was doing anything important, whatever. But okay,
For
continue.
people to return, it's interesting because I know we joked about Rome returning, but I do think it would be interesting if he did come back. Like, how would he play that game? Like, would he play the same or would he change? I wonder. Does that mean I want him to come back? I don't know. I think it's an interesting thought. Of course, I think Teeny might be interesting to have back, but like I wouldn't say for 50. I would want that to be a little longer.
Those are all really great suggestions, but I think two of the biggest names you guys forgot to say were Genevieve and Soul. I mean, I think Genevieve's edit was a little subdued
Mhm.
for so long until the Keyshawn vote, and we got to see so much of her little tidbits in the challenges I thought were hilarious. And Soul, like everyone just loved him, whether it be the fashion or him trying to keep his cool around Rome. I think those two are must be considered.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they, like, kept her mic on while she was sitting out of, like, a billion different challenges in the beginning, and she was saying such funny things. I was like, why aren't we putting her in more?" And also for Sol, I wanna see how much of a fashionista he gets because
Oh,
his outfits
true.
were crazy. They were so good. Like,
He
with
had
the vest
the
and then the scarf thing with, like, no shirt, and it was raining, it was like cinema, like but then at the end of the day, like, at the end, they should be able to wear whatever, like, I don't know. I
I
do wish there was a little bit more of, like, fun outfit choices.
yeah, I can imagine showing up to a
Imagine,
beach in
like, a
this.
CEO on a beach with, like, full business formal briefcase.
Would personally vote out any CEO. If I found out anyone was a CEO, if I was on that season, I'd be like, "You don't deserve this."
Well, that's why we
I
all
hate
hated Liz in the beginning because she already had, like, $4 billion. Like,
Oh, Liz. Maybe bring back Liz. Let's let's try it back with Liz.
Well, this edited version of the podcast has gone over 30 minutes, so
oh, no.
I think it's time to start to try and wrap it up.
Ugh, it's so sad. It's the
I
final
know, it's the last
episode.
one.
I know. What are we going to do
Ugh,
without Survivor and the podcast? Who knows when we'll be
I
back?
who knows? They're in, like, a calendar month.
yeah, literally. No, but I mean, I overall I liked this season a lot. I think
Mhm,
it was the kind of first season, I think, where I really fluctuated on how I felt about people constantly. Like, one episode, I'd be like, oh my God, I love this person. Next episode, I'd be like, I hate this person. And
mhm,
I mean, if you watch the other podcast episodes, you can probably definitely see that in my reactions. Like, and I think that's like a really amazing thing because I mean, you're going on this journey with people and like your opinions about them should change and should like evolve and you should, who you once were like totally rooting for, it's awesome that they through the power of storytelling can make you be like, I hope they don't win anymore. Like
mhm.
I had Sue and I wanted Sue to do so well in the beginning. And then at the finale, I was like, I hope she gets no votes and I hope she loses. So I think that was really good.
Well, thank you, Michael. I think that was a perfect way to tail
Mhm.
end the episode. I'm pretty sure that's like exactly what I was saying just now. I hope everyone watching enjoyed this weird Frankenstein clipped, doctored together thing of a podcast. And Christina, thank you again for coming on.
Of course.
47 fantasy winner. Woo.
Can't wait to take it home again next season.
Stay tuned for future videos. I think we'll maybe do a few things in the off season. What we think if we were in control, what we'd change about Survivor. Yeah, maybe just a little sneak peek. Other than that,
Bye.
adios.